Alright, okay, let's give this a go. Cloverfield Paradox, let's see what you are like.
Government sources tell us the world's energy resources.
What the hell was that? What's that? Okay, I'm taking a look outside. Okay, this doesn't make sense, what is that? Is that a hand? I think it wants something, hang on. You want this, right? Let's see what this is. This will explain what the hell's going on. Okay. No! No, it isn't. In fact, all of this is just confusing. It doesn't make sense, and fuck you, J.J. Abrams. Well, this was quite the surprise, wasn't it? An all-new sequel to Cloverfield released on Netflix directly, straight after the Super Bowl? Unfortunately, the movie's disappointing. Whatever goodwill this movie could have had is sapped away by the fact it's got a badly written script, and the connection to Cloverfield ultimately makes it just really, really confusing. See, the core concept behind the movie is actually interesting, and if it was handled better, this could have been this generation's Event Horizon. It involves a space station doing research into solving an energy crisis, and they end up accidentally crossing over into another dimension. And the result of this is all sorts of chaos and hell being unleashed on the station, as well as some pretty creative visuals. But it never goes to any real logical extreme with those visuals or the concept. It just goes for something that's more self-contained and driven by personal drama that's ultimately, well, useless. They could have cut the drama aspect out of the film completely, and it wouldn't have hurt the film at all. This is thanks in part to the fact that all the characters are just bland and unremarkable. The only characters I can actually remember are the protagonist, the British dude, and the Russian. The protagonist because apparently she had some kids who died, but you don't care about that. The Russian because he turns out to be evil, big surprise, and the British guy because he's actually got some funny lines. What's worse is that the pacing is just all over the place, at least in the first half. In the second half of the movie, it does feel like there's a genuine escalation of tension, and you will be more invested in things, if also a little confused, but in the first half, there are moments where it's trying to be suspenseful, but then there are other moments where it's trying to be bombastic, and others where it's trying to be quiet and drama-driven, and you're just left there sitting going, what? Which is another thing, too much stuff just doesn't make sense. Like, again, the core concept does explain some stuff, but there are still things that just have you going, what? Like, why did the worms end up in the Russian's body? Why did that engine part end up in his body as well? What was the deal with the arm? Why didn't that come back? Why couldn't they realize there was water there? Why did she just betray them? What? The gun? In fact, the entire movie would have worked better if it was standalone with no connection to Cloverfield, or if it was a full-on Netflix series stretched across 13 episodes. That way, at the very least, the more confusing elements could have been explained away much, much better. Suffice to say this, if you're a fan of Cloverfield, you're better off just rewatching the original movie or Cloverfield Lane. The Cloverfield Paradox has good ideas, but it just doesn't go anywhere with them that's actually interesting, and its connection to the original film is so tangential it's non-existent. really, you're just better off watching something else and just ignoring this movie.
Alright, it was awesome to finally get this review out there. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you really liked it, don't forget to also like, favorite, and while you're at it, subscribe. If you want some updates on upcoming reviews, other videos, or what have you, feel free to check out my Minds and Gab. And I've got some good news, I'm actually planning on getting into live streaming gameplay. That is right, I've already done some live streaming of some Kingdom Come gameplay. That game is freaking awesome, by the way. But I'm thinking about mainly doing it on Mixer, so I'll see how that pans out. I've got all that and more coming up, so like usual, stick around.